2, 1, top.
launch that has the function to provide the mechanical part of the and we are going through this last sequence, and while we are going through this last sequence, we will be special moments will be just before 5 seconds by the time in which we will have the so-called handover, just before 5 seconds management in which all the operations the so-called handover from this remote control management to the all the operations will the brain from this remote control take the lead to the onboard computer on the brain the release of the rocket that will take the lead
so from the
from that
fishbowl
moment
to the computer chip
up to the release of
Dante,
the
just before we go into this last minute of the computer chip, what should we expect? Dante, just before we go into this beautiful rocket sitting there, what should we expect? Still, but what are we going to give us a spoiler? Beautiful rocket sitting there. Things that excite you at this launch. But what are we going to give us a spoiler
10 years ago,
of
I
the
was
things
here
that excite you at this launch?
What I can say flight 10 years ago, the Vega, I was here in 2012, and what inaugural flight of the Vega in 2012, and what amazed me when seeing it from the terrace here, was how fast it was, and Vega C is expected to be exactly the same. So we expect to have this very fast rocket jumping off the pad like Usain Bolt and go up to the sky in seconds.
Yeah, so do not blink. Don't blink. Don't make a cup of tea. We're coming up to that final minute. If you've just joined, you are watching the inaugural launch of Europe's versatile new rocket, the Vega C, waiting patiently to jump off the launch pad like a jaguar into this very cloudy South American sky. Right, we are going to stop bothering on now to give you some chance to soak in that last minute before the launch. So sit back and enjoy. Unfortunately, we have a red condition again. I can see it on the screen. So we're going to wait until we hear some more information from the flight deck. Dante, what do we see on the screen? There's 3 reds.
Yes, we have to wait
from... À tous de DDO, arrêt du décompte suite à un rouge sauvegarde. Que tous les moyens restent prêts pour la reprise de la chronologie à H0-4 minutes, en cas de retour au vert.
Flight director just announced that the rouge in this case was triggered by the safeguard, so the safety means. So now we are going to suspend our commentary and we wait for flight updates and the new launch time to be announced.
Okay, yep. So we're back to a suspension of commentary. We'll inform you of that new flight time as soon as possible. It'll come up on the screen, so stay tuned to the feed. Goodbye for now.
à tous de DDO suite à retour au vert des différents moyens. Le nouveau H0 visé est à 13h13 minutes 17 secondes TU. Le temps des comptes redémarrera à 13h09 minutes 17 secondes.
So we're back. If you've just joined us, you are watching the inaugural launch of Europe's versatile new rocket Vega C. And she really is waiting patiently to jump off that launch pad into the cloudy South American sky here. So we've had a couple of stops when we got down to the synchronized sequence, but you know, these things happen. It builds up some sort of terrific tension here. There's lots of people milling about. Everyone's slightly more excited, slightly more under pressure. Here we are in the Jupiter control room. We have about 1 minute 30 seconds until we get down to that 4-minute countdown. We've been here twice already, but it does queue up very, very nicely. A 13:13 UTC launch time on the 13th of July. Are you a suspicious man, Dante?
Normal Italian, yes. And we had indeed a perimeter outside the regular tolerance. It has been corrected, and now all resources, both launcher and ground site, are again ready for this new synchronized sequence. And for information, there will be the last update for today. And let's wait now for the upcoming announcement from the flight director for entering into the synchronized sequence.
Yeah, so we can see all the flight directors there, and the people from Laris 2 who are waiting for their payload to be launched. There is Frederic, the DDO, or flight director as we call him. So he's sitting there patiently looking at his screen.
À tous de DDO, attention pour la séquence finale lanceur.
There we have it. I'm going to say stop, and we will start that synchronized sequence.
Top. H0 moins 4 minutes.
So talk us a little bit through the synchronized sequence, like you have done before, Dante. Yes, the synchronized sequence is doing and did already his job, let's say perfectly, in the sense that it's really intended to make all the sequence and the list of final checks of the thousands of parameters that have to be controlled on this launcher before it's liftoff in an automated way. That means that whenever something that is out of tolerance is detected, there is an automatic triggering, stopping the sequence and giving time to the technical teams to solve the issue, as they did well in the last minutes. And what we have to see now, and what we have to know, is that in this sequence, indeed, we are checking all the systems, both on ground sides and on launcher sides, in order to be ready to have the liftoff in less than 3 minutes now.
Yeah, everything is still green, so that's looking good. Yep, still green. Dante, you told me earlier on that white little bit at the top of the mast was an addition because Vega C is so much taller.
Yes.
Some great views of the rocket here. So Dante, before we get to take off,
yeah, coming back to it's interesting that one of the mass, because Vega C is almost 35 meters height with respect to the 30 meters of Vega, and so we had to increase the height also of that white parallelepipedus that is side to the rocket, that is called the umbilical mast, and you can see the tubes going there inside the fairing and still providing the good environment to the satellite. And now, as we are approaching to the last minute of the chronology, as I was saying before, you should pay attention on how fast this rocket is when leaving the pad, jumping off like Usain Bolt, and hopefully we will see
I'm getting very excited here. People are moving out onto the viewing platform now. We still have greens. This is fantastic. We've still got greens. We're moving towards that final minute. So Dante and I are going to stop our commentary. We want you to really soak this final minute in. Gives Dante and I a chance for our hearts to stop beating. But we will be back in the very first moments of launch to guide you through the next hour and a half until the mission comes to an end. But trust me, there is plenty of excitement in this launch, and the flight director will mark that 1 minute coming up very, very shortly. So enjoy, sit back.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute.
Here we go.
Top, H0 moins 1 minute. À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage P120 et décollage.
The very first Vega C on her inaugural flight, clearing the mast, like you said, in a blink of an eye.
Trajectoire nominale.
Just see it through the cloud. Oh, it's a technology high on the leading edge of life there.
Pilotage calme.
Going to be quick, Dante, and you are not joking. It's like George Russell in a racing car.
Trajectoire nominale.
From the beach in Kourou, yes, look at it how fast it is. The acceleration is more than 2G.
Acquisition, télémesure par station Saint-Jean.
200 Formula One cars pushing together. And we have,
Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
The flight director saying that all the parameters are nominal and everything is going well so far.
Yeah, it's already going faster than a fighter jet. It's just past that milestone.
Pilotage calme.
We're following the rocket, of course, because it's visually it's out of sight. I can actually hear it from the Jupiter Control Center now. But
Paramètres à bord normaux.
We've got a beautiful quasi-synchronized animation for the duration of this launch. It's not telemetry synced, so although we see things happening on the screen, we will wait for the flight director, who will announce that the event has actually happened.
Trajectoire nominale.
There we go. Everything's normal. The screen is full of information. Dante, can you give us a little bit of information about all those different parameters?
We can see here the ground track, so the projection of the trajectory on the ground. Then the altitude.
Paramètres à bord normaux.
Parameters still nominal. The distance run by the launcher and its speed. And of course, the time passed since the liftoff, almost 1 minute 40 seconds.
Yeah, and we've seen some beautiful external camera shots there. They are delayed by about 40 seconds.
Paramètres à bord normaux.
For technical reasons. And there we go, everything's still normal. We are currently flying under the propulsion of the P120C developed by Euro Propulsion, a joint venture between Ariane Group and Avio. We're already coming up to a major double milestone in a few seconds.
P120.
And
Pilotage calme.
Dante will explain what that double milestone is. It's a unique, complex separation of the spent
Trajectoire nominale.
Yes, we are
stage.
hearing that the trajectory is nominal, parameters are nominal. P120C is slowing its thrust, and we are approaching the separation. Let's wait for the announcement of the flight director.
The animation.
Séparation P120.
There he goes. He's
Allumage Z40.
and it's ignited.
Yeah, this is already a very major milestone of this flight, because we had the in-flight qualification, so demonstration that we fulfill all the objectives and requirements for this first stage that can be considered qualified for future Vega C missions and flight proven to be used as strap-on booster for the upcoming Ariane 6.
Yeah, so you may have noticed in that 3D animation there that there were some retro rockets. Give us a little... why do we have to do that?
We have these 8 small retro rockets that they provide a
Propulsion nominale.
thrust to the P120C, because it is so big and with so much residual inertia that we must be sure it won't hit the rest of the rocket once separated.
So, of course, we heard the DDO announce, the flight director announced that the Z40 ignition, the second stage, which has a 92-second burn time, and we're doing this dogleg maneuver as well now. So this is the second stage. It's also like the first stage. It's a solid rocket motor. Talk me through the Z40, Dante.
Solid rocket motors that in less than 2 minutes will bring the rocket up to 16,000 kilometers per hour speed and more than 180 kilometers of altitude.
Trajectoire nominale.
So look at the camera. The Earth is not flat. We can see it.
Well, it wasn't flat 40
clearly.
seconds ago. We can't confirm it is flat now.
We have this really nice view from the
Pilotage
onboard camera.
calme.
The guiding, you can hear the flight director saying pilotage calme. That means in French that the guiding so far is very smooth, and it's a very good sign.
Yeah, that's
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
And parameters are nominal, and then we are approaching also the separation of the second stage that as well is doing its first in-flight mission. So in a few seconds we should listen to the flight director.
We're going to have the second stage separation, and we'll wait for the DDO to announce that. But we're also going to have ignition of the third stage and fairing release in quick succession. So pay attention. We're coming up to that milestone there. It's on the animation. It's here for the DDO.
Séparation Z40.
And there it is. separated. There's the firing on the animation. Frederic?
Allumage Z9.
Yes, and it is firing. And there was my favourite moment.
Séparation de la coiffe.
And Didio confirms it actually happens. It's the separating of the fairings. It's one when you watch it for the first time, you think, what, you know, you're exposing your payload to the rushing wind as the rocket barrels through space. But of course, we're well into space now. We're twice the height of the Kármán line. So Dante, tell me what's happening here.
Look, we are already at 194 kilometers of altitude. It means the atmosphere there is so thin that there is no possible harm to the payload. So for this reason, we get rid of the fairing because its aerodynamic and protection functions have expired, and now it has just
Trajectoire
useless
nominale,
mass.
paramètres à bord nominaux.
So now we don't want to bring up with us to the very end this useless mass, because the lighter you are, the more performance you get, and the better it is. And look at this.
Oh, beautiful,
Extremely
beautiful, the onboard
beautiful
camera.
view
That
of the
separation happened 70 seconds ago. With the technical reason for the delay has meant that we see that it's 70 seconds behind now. But that's actually quite useful because we get to comment on it. And look, there's the fairing wobbling away. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful, falling down to, like you say, a sort of
Propulsion nominale, paramètres à bord normaux.
So everything's normal. We're looking at the, what stage are we looking at now? We're looking at the Z9 stage. Yeah, the third stage, and it's flying on the animation. Talk us through this particular flight, because we're going to see a maneuver any second now that's quite interesting.
Yes, you have seen now, since the separations of the first and second stage, they fall back into the ocean, while for the Z9 we are already at 240, we will reach almost 300 kilometers of altitude, and it will continue in a ballistic trajectory going on. So we have to manage carefully with this maneuver we are seeing in the animation. It is called the neutral axis maneuver, and this way we can manage properly the fall down point of this third stage that will happen in the Polar Sea.
Yeah.
Pilotage calme.
And still everything's fine. The telemetry on the screen and the animation represent the exact rocket maneuver, so we can see it's absolutely normal following that green track. So we'll always hear the confirmation from the flight director that things are happening, but the animation seems to be just before it's saying it. And everything is still normal. That third stage is almost spent now. It's how's it different? It's no different from the other two stages, is it?
No, it's just smaller, but it brings the most difference in terms of gaining speed.
Séparation Z9.
There we go. The Z9 has separated. Confirmation. It will safely fall near the pole, and this is Vega's first time around the globe, and unfortunately last as well. So let's talk about ground stations, actually, Dante. We'll be losing the satellite to a blind spot in the ground station coverage in about 1 minute 30 seconds, I believe, and that's going to be for about 5 minutes. So what exactly does it mean to lose ground stations?
Orbite atteinte après extinction Z9 nominale.
Oh, well, let's soak in that view of the blue marble here.
I was listening for the flight director saying that still everything is nominal. So the rocket is guided autonomously by its own board computer. That is good. No one with the joystick piloting it.
We're just watching the that separation of the stage falling down.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Still, it is still not flat. Yeah, but what we have to absolutely need to do is to constantly know where it is, the launcher, and how it is doing. We have listened so far to
visibilité Saint-Jean.
Yes, to the various announcements from the flight director, and he can do this only because we have this ground station, so big antennas spread all around the world that are there to retrieve all the telemetry data coming from the rocket. In this way, we know what is happening and that everything is nominal, and as the flight director just announced it. And each antenna has a visibility cone, and when we design the mission, we don't only maximize and optimize the performance, but we must also ensure. But look, we have
that's the payload.
Yes, an inside view of the Lares 2 inside the fairing.
And if you think it looks like a mirror ball,
yeah, indeed,
it really does. It really does. And I think we've just had announced that the telemetry was lost there.
Perte normale de la télémesure en fin de visibilité Galio.
Exactly, and so I was saying that thanks to we ensure that all the main events happen in full visibility.
Yeah, so we're higher than the ISS. I don't know how we managed to miss it, but we managed to miss
Galio confirmé.
managed to miss the ISS there. So there was confirmation the rocket's out of sight, but it's certainly not out of mind. She's bravely flying all on her own. What happens to all that telemetry, though, when the rocket is out of the gaze of the ground stations?
What we do is that all the flight data are being stored in a special unit, the mass memory unit, ready to be sent in packages as soon as back in visibility of the next ground station. In this way, we ensure that we have all the data also to perform the post-flight analysis. That is very important.
Yeah, so we keep saying this flight is normal, but we won't know whether it's nominal really until we get all that flight information back.
Exactly.
It's absolutely super critical, particularly, I guess, on a maiden flight of a brilliant rocket. So with that, this is an inaugural launch, and what is the follow-up to a success of an inaugural launch? Well, the Vega C is the start of a new era of space launch. European Space Agency working hard for building a system that delivers. So here are a few familiar faces to explain that concept.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top.
After the maiden flight, the successful maiden flight in 2012, the team started working on other programs, in particular the evolutions of the Vega launcher, the Vega C version, the consolidated one, and the Vega Evolution version, which will be launched in 2026. The key innovation regarding Vega E is, of course, this third stage, which will be greener than the current stages. It will be liquid oxygen and methane, so it improves in this sense. It is more performing. It reduces the number of stages, therefore the costs and the complexities. Overall, it will be more performing and more competitive.
Avio's role in the Vega E development is the development of a cryogenic upper stage, M10, which will replace the current Zefiro 9 and Avum propulsion stages. So the third and fourth stages will be replaced by a single third stage, liquid oxygen, liquid methane. It's a technology that represents a novelty for Europe, so quite a bit of effort for this new version, which will fly by 2026.
All that coupled with Space Rider, which will be the first European operational capability fully reusable to come down to Earth, be refurbished and start again into space, we have a portfolio of products which really strengthens Europe in space.
This is a model of Space Rider. The real thing is quite bigger, the size of 2 minivans. Once in orbit, Space Rider will perform experiments in microgravity. This is because the re-entry module has a cargo bay in which we can put experiments inside and perform validation of new technologies in these extreme microgravity conditions. Space Rider will be launched atop of a Vega C launcher. We stay 2 months in orbit, and after its orbital life, the two modules, the re-entry module and the orbital module, will separate, and the re-entry module will deorbit and re-enter on Earth. This is thanks to 2 additional systems that are a landing gear that will open when we'll be close to the ground on bottom part of the vehicle, and then thanks to a parafoil that is a steerable parachute that will be deployed at about 5 kilometers of altitude and will guide autonomously the spacecraft to a dedicated landing site. Reusability is a key word worldwide in the space sector, and we want to address this challenge in order to demonstrate, thanks to Space Rider, that we will be able to fly over and over, reduce the recurrent cost, and be competitive in a very difficult market.
Wow, Wow, that was a very handsome man there touching the Space Rider. I want to write a rock song called Space Rider. What we gonna ride inside her? Space Rider. This is the first ever flight of a Vega C.
Visibilité station Osagel.
Oh, there we go. We
acquired the visibility of the Osagel station.
So we're back. So she's back in the gaze of a ground station. So that's brilliant news. The rocket has been picked up successfully by Osagel ground station, which itself.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
And everything's normal. And the ground station is about 20 kilometers south of Toulouse in France. So this rocket is flying around. You are watching the inaugural launch of Vega C with myself, Matt Russell, and Space Rider program manager, no less, Dante Gale. Dante, explain why Vega C is really exciting milestone for Europe.
Well, Vega C, now look, still the Laris 2. Yeah,
there it is.
Really beautiful. But yes, Vega C is opening a new era for the space transportation in Europe. It will be the first of a set of portfolio of services that we will bring for Europe for an independent access to space. We have Vega C with its versatility, then we will have its big brother, Ariane 6, that will share with Vega C the first stage, the P120C, used as lateral strap-on booster for Ariane 6, and then we will have the Space Rider for this new capability to re-enter from orbit and then land and be reused and make the post-flight analysis of the experiments in microgravity. And we will have the new version of the Vega C, the Vega Evolution, with a brand new third stage.
Yeah, they mentioned that third stage in the clip there, and they said that it was a novelty for Europe. How so?
Absolutely, because it will be a liquid methane, liquid oxygen new propulsion module, and this means that we will have a green type of propulsion, so addressing also one important point that interests everyone, and addressing the European Space Agency 2025 agenda of our director in addressing the green objective. And also, we will substitute the third and fourth stage of the Vega C with this new third stage. So one stage instead of two. So we reduce the cost, we increase performance, we increase competitiveness.
Yeah, so we are truly high now. We are almost 3 times the height of the ISS, and we're still rising rapidly. And you may have heard there, the DDO mentioned that we were in a ballistic flight. It's a bit like throwing a tennis ball and just watching it do that curve. In other words, that it's just under its own momentum and the chains of gravity acting upon it. So there's the only forces there. So we have 5 AVM plus burns. So this is the final stage of the Vega C rocket. And we've got 5 of those burns to do. And the first of those burns is going to be coming up in about 40 seconds. But we can see that the AVM stage is maneuvering around in the animation. Is it actually doing that out in space?
Absolutely, yes, because it has to orientate now the itself, and so the rocket, what is left for the rocket, to do its first burn. That will give a huge amount of increase in speed to raise the orbit and go up to the injection point.
And everything is still normal at the moment. This is absolutely fantastic, picture perfect. And that payload that we keep seeing the live footage of on the screen, there is on the animation. Let's listen to the detail.
Premier allumage de l'étage AVM.
There we have confirmation. But yes, please stay tuned to hear about Laris, because it is an amazing Laris 2. It's an amazing satellite. We have confirmation that from the flight director that AVM Plus has been ignited for the first of a 4-minute burn. So we are now in that phase of the mission that is less, and everything's normal. It's less about getting, and everything's calm. We're getting off it's less about getting off the planet now, isn't it? We're not using these solid rocket boosters, which are essentially jackhammers to get your way out of Earth's gravity well. Now we're in that stage of the rocket where we're trying to use a little bit more finesse rather than that raw power. So it's so Dante, this is a very different stage, isn't it, of the rocket and the rest of the launcher stages we've seen so far.
Propulsion nominale.
That's correct. It's a completely different stage, and still everything nominal and calm. What is this difference? The first three stages are solid rocket motors. Their principle of functioning is like a firework. You ignite, they burn, they expire. We get rid of them. But then you need something that has the capability to be reignited. Why? I give you a kind of a metaphor. Think about the golf. You want to reach the hole, so you use the drive at the beginning because you want a very powerful mean to reach rapidly and efficiently the green. But then it is very difficult to do hole-in-one. You need a pattern. You need a pattern to go to the hole. And the Avon Plus is doing exactly this. It's our pattern. It's the propulsion model, liquid propulsion model with the capability to be reignited and ensure the fine and precise pointing and injection into the orbit required by our payloads.
Yeah, that P120C is one hell of a driver as well. So the Avon doesn't just have one thruster though, does it?
Not at all. We have the main engine that is burning now, and in fact we call MIA, so main engine Avon. And
Propulsion
then we have
nominale.
propulsion still
Les
nominal,
paramètres à bord sont normaux.
and parameters still nominal, and we have two additional small thrusters. They are called RACs, Roll and Attitude Control System. We use them, in fact, to adjust the attitude of the rocket all along its mission, but most importantly, also to ensure that the payload is released exactly in the way and in an attitude it wants to.
Yeah, I wish I could adjust the attitude of my kids. The little brass-coloured objects on the black cone, the dispenser that you see in the animation, are they the RACs thrusters?
Yes, correct.
Wow, yeah. So they're used on this mission for
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
one of my favourite manoeuvres, the barbecue manoeuvre. Can you talk us through exactly what on earth a barbecue manoeuvre is?
Yes, we use this word that is explaining exactly what this maneuver is. It's a barbecue. It means a slight rotational movement along the axis of the speed. And we do this for two reasons. The first one is because spinning into the sky, into the space, gives you stability, so we are more stable. And second, we use this maneuver because in this way we make homogeneous the temperature all along the structure. We are in the deep space. On one side you have the sun, on the other side you have the deep space, so very different temperatures. This can create distortion and too big solicitation to the structure, so you make it rotate so that the temperature is homogeneous, like when you're cooking your meat on a barbecue, and you want this very well cooked on all the sides.
Yeah, so we're about to have this confirmation of the extinction of the Avon Plus burn, so we'll wait for the DDO flight director to confirm that telemetry. And we'll be flying ballistically once more, once that burn finishes.
Yes, we are waiting for the
flight
director to announce for the extinction of
there is on the animation
stage.
He seems very unconcerned.
But anticipating what is...
Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
So nominal parameter still, and here we have a very nice view again of this Earth that is not becoming flat, it's still round. That's amazing. And look, really amazing view. And then after this the extinction of the Avon burn, we will have what we call a ballistic phase. So a long phase in which the engine will no more propel the rocket, but in any case, it will continue moving along its orbit around the Earth, waiting for the next burn. And we do this because we want to optimize everything. And instead of
Extinction de la VOOM.
Okay, now we have the confirmation from the flight director, so we have the extinction of the first burn. So we will have this quite long coasting phase, we call it coasting phase, before making the second ignition.
So yes, this is the last of the major milestones for about 45 minutes. So Dante and myself will be taking a breather from all that tension, all that build-up. It has been an amazing launch so far.
Paramètres de l'étage à VOOM nominaux.
Everything's normal, and we saw that the way it jumps off the launch pad, absolutely incredible. And the sound in the building when it finally reached us was absolutely off-putting.
You didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it.
We were vibrating
So we're gonna stop our broadcasting for.
Atteinte à l'issue de la première poussée à vous, mais nominale.
So everything's still normal, and we got a beautiful last view for me of the of this glitter ball. So we're going to leave you in the capable hands of this feed. The commentary is going to come to an end now. The telemetry will be real up until the point where we lose Pascual for a bit, for about 15 minutes, but it will be picked up again by the new Niasa station in Australia, one of the S-Track Earth stations. So everything's running normally, and I am actually having an absolute blast. So we'll see you after the break. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Base balistique en cours. Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.